Hey guys, welcome to the Alloy Business Personal Training Business Podcast. And today I'm super excited. Listen, we're not doing our normal format. And for Jeff, you probably don't know this, but we normally shoot these in our conference room, which is our slash studio, right? And we do it live. But we felt like it was so important to highlight who you guys are as one of our favorite vendors and one of the most favorite things about our business, that it would be worth breaking the mold and doing a Zoom call, which I think we're all very familiar with these days and how it works. So, so you guys, would like to introduce to you Jeff Presley, and he is the sales director for a company called Causey. So if you're in the fitness space, you might have heard of Causey through their Facebook check-in business, right? And how they donate to charity for that. And we're going to talk about Causey, the hows and whys, why it got started. And how Alloy works with Causey, and what we do with you guys and how impactful that's been for our business. But first, Jeff, I did some digging on you, and you have the most interesting background. You are a triathlete of business, which I think that you're a real triathlete, right? In real life.
Right.
But
That's right.
It's like you're in the tech space, you do fitness, you run charities. So tell us a little bit about Jeff Presley. How did you get started with Causey, and tell us a little bit about your background?
That was a great little connection. I've never thought about that before. So I do, as a hobby, I do triathlons. I love it. I've been doing it for 7, 8, 9 years now. And the very first race I trained for, I was on a borrowed road bike. I didn't have all the gear. Like, triathlon has quite a bit of a startup cost, right? So I had borrowed gear and things of that nature, but I knew I was hooked when I loved the training. I was like, in the past, I'd always just been pounding pavement, running 5Ks, half marathons, et cetera. And I was like, wow, I enjoy this. I'm hooked. So yes, triathlon is a hobby of mine. I am a part-time fitness instructor, which I love. I'm a morning guy, so get up and work with a couple of different locations. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, by the way, right in the center part of the state. So if anybody's ever enjoyed a little sip of bourbon, it's probably from right here in central Kentucky. So I do that, fitness instructor. I've been involved in sales in the past. Currently, with Causey, cause marketing is what we would be called, but I've also been, and currently I am also involved in the tech space as well, data analytics and things like that. So yeah, that fits kind of a triathlon of business background also.
That's right. Well, how were you first introduced to Causey? Maybe through your own lens too. Just tell us, in your elevator pitch, what is Causey and how did you get involved with those guys?
Yeah, so I had a friend. We weren't close friends, but a friend and acquaintance nonetheless. I knew his dad better than I knew him, and he texted me. I was out to dinner with my wife. I remember where I was sitting, what restaurant I was in, and he texted me, said, "Hey, I know you're probably not looking for a new job, but we're looking to expand and grow here at Causey. You came to mind based on your background, the verticals that we're going to be working with, fitness, church, restaurant, chiropractor, et cetera. We think you'd be a great fit." And I said, "Funny that you should ask. I'm right now kind of in a transition mode." And so lined up a couple of interviews and it worked out, But what attracted me to Causey, which will lead me into discussing what Causey is and what Causey does, the whole idea behind Causey, if you don't mind, I'll just jump right into kind of the mission of it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, that doing good is good for your business. And for me, the altruistic nature of that connected right away. That doing good is good for your business. Now, doing good could be defined in many ways, but with Causey in particular, it's giving back to charity, right? So not just one charity, but many charities, a charity each month, but giving back, being a good member of society, a good member of community, a good member of, whatever country you happen to be in. We're in the US. So that was very attractive to me that, hey, we're not just going to be doing business development. We're not just going to be selling. We're not going to just be signing people up. But at the end of the day, a kid gets a meal. A family gets access to clean water. A homeless person gets a winter jacket. A puppy and a kitten get rescued from an animal shelter. Who doesn't want to be a part of those things? We've even planted trees and built schools and all kinds of crazy things. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? And I thought, wow, my day-to-day being involved with sales is helping businesses, helping customers, whether it's a gym, a church, a restaurant, whoever, Alloy, helping them kind of grow their business, reach new members coming in by giving back, and it's organically done on social media. Now, we'll get into the very specifics, right? That's all kind of still muddled. People may not know exactly what happened, but that was just kind of the idea that was rolling around in my head as well. I could be a part of that in the day-to-day. Doing good is good for your business. Giving back and growing my business at the same time, that's pretty cool. So that's what attracted me. That's a little bit about Causey. We can explain it in more detail, but that's just sort of throwing out some starter thoughts there.
Yeah, no, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, that's why we were attracted to you guys, because that's been, by the way, our philosophy all along as well. So when we ran into you guys, we knew there was probably a bigger play at hand just based on the alignment. But why don't you tell people, like, in its bare essence, certainly through the lens of fitness, what is Causey? Like, how did the program get started? What does it involve?
Yeah, and I love the story of how it all started too. That was also part of what got me. So the local gym here in Lexington, they were trying to find a way to give back, and they were already doing that, right? Like, they would do a shoe drive, they would do a canned food drive at Thanksgiving. They would do toys. It's called an angel tree, and I know that's probably nationwide to some degree, but an angel tree, I think Salvation Army does that, where they would get a present, wrap it, and put it under a tree at the gym. So they were trying to find ways to give back. They were already doing that. But then also they were trying to find ways to use social media to reach more people, right? How do we get more people to come in the door? Well, social media, and this is probably, gosh, I'm thinking 8-10 years ago or so, where Facebook, it's still all the rage, right? But at that time, it was even more the rage. Like, how can we use social media to reach more people? So what they focused on, and now we're talking about what Causey actually does, is Facebook check-ins seem to be a little bit of that golden ticket, because a Facebook check-in is done organically, right? I show up to the gym and I check in. Nobody made me do that. And it's kind of simple, right? I just check in. But what it does is a check-in also shows your friends online where you are, and it shows something about the business, right? Like, what star rating do they have? What's the physical address? What's the phone number? It even shows you a little dot on the map. And Facebook was, and still is, was pushing check-ins to about 200 to 300, sometimes 400 of that person's friends. So I show up to the gym, I check in, 200, 300, maybe 400 people see that I checked in. So that is great, what we would call social reach. A lot of people see that. It'll show right up in their timeline. So then the gym was like, hey, this is great. So we started pushing check-ins. The problem is people get tired of hearing you ask them to go check in. So then this connection happened where, how do we incentivize or motivate our members to do these check-ins? Like, we know the action we want. What can we do to incentivize and motivate them so they will want to do it? It's a pleasure to do it. It's not a task. And the idea was, what if we connected our giving to charity, our giving back, to this checking in on social media? We get more social reach. People hear about the gym, and not just that we think we're a great gym, but we're actually doing good and helping others. That little win-win-win, right? And you're helping people in need too. That's where the idea began. So it took off. It was exploding. Like 1,000 check-ins in a month was just crazy. That was mind-blowing. So then that snowballed for months and months and months. And then somebody said, hey, what you guys are doing, could you help me do that at my church? Could you help me do that at my restaurant? These were members of the gym. Could you help me do it at my restaurant? Could you help me do it at my chiropractic practice? Then the wheels started turning. Hey, there's a business model here, right? This is a marketing sort of thing. And so Causey was born as a cause marketing business, but kind of the elevator pitch is, it's a turnkey social media campaign that gives back to charity. And so that's where it all came to. And that's what attracted you guys, right, Rick? I mean, that's what you all saw, is it's a turnkey social media campaign, marketing campaign, if you want to call it that gives back to charity. So Causey provides, well, number one, we vet those charities for you, right? So you don't have to go out and figure out which charity we're going to use. Are they trustworthy? Where's the funding going to go? So Causey vets the charity. They do designated funding, which is huge. So world-class charities, they're great, but they may take your money and put it towards salaries. Now, they have to pay the salaries, but we want you all, Alloy, to be able to tell your members you're providing a meal for a kid. You're not paving the parking lot. You're not buying more computers, right? You're buying a meal for a kid. So we vet the charity. We do designated funding. We have third-party accountability, which is huge, right? Reputation means everything. We can verify where the dollars and pennies, quarters are going. Then we provide the marketing content. So social media posts, emails, newsletters, printouts. And all of this was happening over time, right? Causey wasn't born and we weren't doing all of it. We kind of learned it as we went. And you have a dashboard. So we're able to track and show you how many check-ins you get. We even do how many likes and things of that nature. But the key was, how many people are you reaching through this, right? So is it 1,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 100,000? How many people are you reaching through this campaign each month? So all of those things combined, that's that turnkey part of it that, again, we didn't start there, but a restaurant doesn't have time to figure that out. The local gym doesn't have time to figure that out. The church doesn't have time to figure that out. So we were able to basically build this, and people could pay a monthly subscription and get all this delivered for them. Basically, they just needed to help create the excitement, deliver the vision, and bring some passion. And their members, whether it's church members, gym members, patrons in the restaurant, you name it, we've even done some retail, they're going to get behind it. And then it starts to go. That's where the momentum builds. So that was a long answer, but kind of connecting all the dots for you.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I think you you answered a lot of the questions that folks would have that we had initially, right, in that description. So that was great. Now, tell me a little bit. I don't know if, I mean, obviously, part of your professional career looks at data analytics, right? What would you say to someone about how a giving structure can help their business?
Yeah, so there's a lot of statistics. We've done research on millennials to just whoever's out there, but all the statistics show, even more so now, right? So our statistics are a little bit dated, but we don't even have to update them because we know the kind of the climate of the culture is, it's even more true now than it was. That if you took two businesses, well, let me start back with this, is that there's an expectation that your business, it's not enough to just not do bad or to not create harm or to not pollute or to not hurt people, right? Does that make sense? It's not enough to just, it's not enough to just not be corrupt. How's that, right?
Right.
It's
a good start, though. That's probably a good place to start.
Right. That
don't
is a good
steal,
foundation.
Don't hurt people. Let's start there, right? Okay.
That's a fantastic base.
That gives you the right to even be in business. We'll just say that.
That's right. That's a good business model, right? Don't be corrupt is our mission.
Right.
But what is true is the expectation is, hey, that your business would also do good in some way, whatever that looks like, that you're at least trying to do good. So if you start with that, then the statistics are evident. The research would show that if you put two businesses side by side, let's just pick two gyms, right? Two gyms side by side, everything else is equal. Let's say gym membership and classes offered, et cetera, trainers, et cetera. If they're equal, if one does good, and I'll even say gives back, let's call it that. If one gives back, that person will choose the gym or the business that does good, that gives back. So it is strong enough that if two brands were equal, the one that does good, people will gravitate. And if you even just think of big brands that are out there in the world today. I'm in the South. Well, I'm in Lexington, probably almost Southeast, people would call us that. Chick-fil-A is incredible. It trumps any other fast food that's out there. And it's a little bit unspoken, but people know they do things differently. When you walk in, they treat you differently. They have camps for underprivileged kids. Like, they do all this good stuff. They've been in the news a little bit for a few stances that were probably unpopular, but they still are incredibly popular. And I only use that one because all your listeners have probably heard of Chick-fil-A, I imagine. And that makes a difference. They're crushing the competition and they're not even open on Sundays. So think in the gym world, if your gym is doing good, you're creating this synergy, your members are excited, we're doing good. Like we're helping kids, we're helping families, we're helping puppies and dogs and cats, and we're planting a tree. There's something about all that. Statistics will back it up. Also, there's many more, but I'll stop there. How's that? But that is
Sure.
what the data will tell you. That is what the statistics will tell you, is that people don't just want it, they expect it, and they will pick a brand if one does good and one doesn't. So how's that? That's probably a good place to settle right there.
No, that's a fantastic answer, and I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, when you look at, we're north of Atlanta, so we're not too far from you. Obviously, also
you're
in the
there.
southeast.
Yeah, absolutely, in the south. Yeah.
Well, we are in a great market, high average income, low cost of living, which creates this nice discretionary gap, but every other brand also sees that. So we have 50 competitors within a 12-minute drive, which is our competitive radius, right, of our club. And those are just in the studio spaces. Forget about the big boys. Sure. So when you talk about, a game of inches and looking for competitive advantages, just from a business perspective, it makes a ton of sense to do something like this. Like you said, if you can just nudge the needle a little bit in your favor, everyone does good workouts, I'm sure, right? And there's all these other ways that people think they have competitive advantages, but looking at it through the lens of your consumer, something like this moves the needle in a meaningful way that's different than what everyone else does. It's no longer like best workout in town. Because I mean, I've done triathlon, like you go ride a bike, that's a good workout. You do weights, that's a good workout. And there's mechanisms in fitness that do all of these things, right? So what's a good workout? Depends on who you are and what you're looking for. But this is something that can really differentiate you from the competition. So awesome. So you guys have seen the business metrics. How did you guys fare? And this isn't a question on here, I'm just curious, like, how did things go last year? We all know it was a tough year, right? Did people continue to give during that time? What did you guys see overall?
Yeah, so a couple things there, right? People did continue to give as they could, right? And that's that little caveat, because with Causey, small business, that is our bread and butter. That's our target market. When you think who's target market, we're going after small business. And our kind of three key verticals were gyms, churches, and restaurants. Well, those were three that were getting shut down. So that was it was a really tough year for us to see people. So we call it going on hold. People who just said, "Hey, we don't want to stop Causey, but we need to go on hold because our doors aren't open. So we can't really continue to do anything. We don't have anybody coming in where they're not allowed to come in, right?" So we had a lot of people going on hold. And then, as they could, they started coming back online and things of that nature, eager to get back in there and start giving and sharing and doing good and that sort of thing. So 2020 it put us through the ringer. We had to, like most businesses, right? Where can we make wise cuts, wise savings in order to keep going? And so that was the whole goal, and we made it. But it wasn't easy. Yeah, it was difficult. And I'm sure most gym owners who are out there listening, they understand that. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'm glad you guys are still here. We were fortunate enough to be able to give. I think we were in the same boat, though. Everyone took a bit of a haircut in different spots. And,
that's right.
We gave as much as we could. We kept it going. But I'm glad that you guys are still here. Through the lens of Alloy, and, I haven't even really discussed this with you even pre-call. So how we came to Causey was for those very reasons. At first, we heard about this neat program where you could do these check-ins, right? And it's like, well, that sounds good because that's our great organic reach. We all know Facebook is to monetize everything, even your own list on your business page. You're not going to get any penetration of that unless you buy the attention, right? So I thought, wow, an organic reach program that also does good, right? Because we were already doing good. It's like, this is great. Our motto is stronger together, and we have it, trademarked in the fitness space, and we've had that since before Hillary used it for her campaign, which everyone teased us about. But it's like, look, we're not political in any way. Here's what it means: Alloy is a combination of materials, right? Our logos leaning on each other. And it speaks to that. But it works business to business. So now as a franchise, it works from franchisor to franchisee. It works from the franchisee, which is the gym owner, to their members. But I think it even works beyond that. And that's how we always wanted to use it, was like, listen, the better that our brand does and the more good that we can do, we'll take it out of these four walls and even out of this business construct and put it into, something good. And I feel like it's a social responsibility to do so. If you're doing well and you are, grateful in any way, that's the way to pay it forward, And so we had, we were doing charitable contributions before we came across you guys. It was just part of our DNA. But we were trying to do it like, almost each business entity on an island. So this brick and mortar would do local to that community, and this brick and mortar would do local to that community. And then our licensing company at the time would do global. And as you mentioned before, vetting charities became like a full-time job, and we're trying to do it every month. So it's like, you have to look up the charity and where's the percentage of money go. And, and there are websites and things and resources, but it was taking an inordinate amount of time to give money away. And so we looked at you guys, and it was just this one giving piece that had Facebook check-ins, and said, well, I think it was in a meeting, and I was like, why don't we just reach out to Causey and see if we can just give one lump sum above and beyond these Facebook check-ins to, this group. They're vetting the charities. They do a fantastic job marketing, right? What you guys do well, in my opinion, is the charities are great. The marketing is amazing. And it really allows a business to be able to market that they give back in a meaningful way. And I would say in a meaningful way, because if you just threw a number on the wall, when we're balling, it's like, do you want to say we gave away tens of thousands of dollars, or do you want to say we gave away bowls of dog food to dogs in shelters, right? So it's a way to sort of bring awareness to your giving structure of your company without being cheesy and ruining it by almost bragging about it, right? Which sounds silly, but I mean, that's the way we would look at it. So I loved it. And then, with the marketing pieces that came with it, and at the end of the year, we do a nice piece for like the good that Alloy's done. And I will tell you, for us, it's made a huge impact, not just for our brick and mortars, but for our overreaching company, to be able to let the other gyms that we're working with in a license and now into a franchise, like, look at the good we are doing, right? So by doing business with us on any level, you are by default doing this good work, in the world or in the community, and you get to be part of that. And so they get to advertise also, look at what our brand is doing, right? And it's super impactful. All the research we've seen, lists cause as a major reason for, attracting good talent, right, to your team. People want to work for a company that has a cause, right? And then consumers want to buy, to your point earlier, they want to buy from a company, that has a cause. And so for us, the Facebook charities was a brilliant idea, and we still use that construct as well. But even more importantly, I think for us, it was the vehicle for giving, just to be able to, and you guys were great enough to maybe change your business model a little bit, at least for us, and say, okay, so you're just going to give us a chunk of money every month. I'm like, yes, we're going to give you what we can. And then, just let us know how we did. Right. And it's really been a great relationship for us. And just hearing you talk about it today, I know you and I've never really formally had a chance to sit down and talk about it, but hearing you speak about it today just gives me more conviction that we are definitely partnered with the right company.
I appreciate it. Those things that you said there, some very kind words, but I think your all's motto of stronger together, it fits so well with what Causey does. And when we started this, there were certain things that happened that we never even counted on. And it was this idea of stronger together. Now, we didn't, term it like you all have done it, right? But it was this idea of synergy, that people come to the gym to feel good and to look good. Typically, that's why they're coming, feel good, look good. And so this whole idea of, but let's also do good, right? Let's also do this third piece, which is let's do good together. So stronger together, but doing good together for others. This idea of being externally focused. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that, right? If you're a good human, who doesn't want to be a part of that? So this stronger together is the idea that, yes, as an individual, I could give to the local Salvation Army or the food bank or the animal shelter. But what if as a gym, we come together and we do this, we can actually do more together, if that makes sense. And so that's one of the reasons that we pick one charity a month instead of dividing it up and across a bunch of them, is that if all of us come together, man, we could provide 1,000 winter coats. Now that number is really low, but I'm just throwing out a blanket number, right? We could provide 10,000 meals. We could actually build a school and a half. That was the number one time, a school and a half. And so there's something about all of us coming together, stronger together, to do this. And one of the things that you mentioned, and I'll kind of toss it back to you after this, is what Causey does is we're able to bring it down to a quantifiable, tangible good. And back to the data and the analytics, research will show, whether it's Causey or American Red Cross, if you just throw a dollar amount in there, people aren't as motivated or moved by a dollar amount. But if you say, hey, we provided 10,000 meals, or hey, we built a school for kids who did not have a school, we built one. People are motivated by a quantifiable, tangible good. Or let's take it even smaller, right? The micro donation. If I check in at the gym today, I can help provide 50 gallons of clean water. Or I can help provide a winter coat or a pair of shoes. Or I can help provide a minute of pediatric cancer research. Like, now you're really doing something, and it costs that individual nothing but the act of checking in or leaving a review or tagging Alloy in their post, and they just did something good. That is the power of it. It's this quantifiable, tangible good that I get to be a part of. And then I'll say, one of the things that you mentioned that Alloy does that separates you from most anybody else that we work with is you all say, hey, we're doing this together, but then on top of that, we want to go above and beyond, and you guys need to receive the credit for that. I mean, seriously, we don't have anybody that gives like you all give. That's just the truth of the matter. And you didn't know I was going to say that. But that was a little note that I took is, hey, I want to make sure I give you guys credit for the extra that you do. But all of that comes into the stronger together, right? That quantifiable, tangible good that one individual in your gym can provide a meal. And all I did was leave a review about your gym on Facebook or check in. Like that, there's something really awesome about that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm going to steal your idea of do good. So our tagline, consumer facing tagline, is looking good, because that's a relative term, right? Like, I mean, if you lose a little weight or your posture's bad, whatever, you're looking good, and that's important. Looking good, feeling great, right? Because if you feel, you could say good, but if you maybe you feel great because you look better, right? Or maybe you feel good because you're not in pain anymore because you're exercising, your back doesn't hurt. And then the last, so it's looking good, feeling great, and living life to the fullest. But I really like do good, you know. So you never know. You may see our tagline change to look good, feel good, do good.
Well, I like living life to the fullest. That's actually, I think, I haven't looked at this since I set up my Twitter account, but I think I actually put that on there, living life to the fullest, which was been, who knows, 12 years ago. But I love that too. So I'll bring that one back around also, living life to the fullest.
So many synergies. Well, listen, Jeff, it was a real pleasure, really. I mean, to finally to speak to someone at an organization that's the favorite part of my business. We do. I mean, being in fitness in general, you get it. You're in fitness. You know, helping someone achieve a fitness goal is a noble profession, a great thing to do. But to take it one step further and to be able to you know, be grateful for what you've received, and then to be able to take that to the world or the bigger community, it's such a pleasure, such a privilege, to be honest, to do it. And you know, so excited to be able to do it with you guys. So to actually be able to speak to someone who's got the insight that you do, man, we just keep doing what you do. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and the same would be true back to you guys, right? It's kind of the golden rule: treat others the way you would want to be treated. So if we can help somebody in need and we can get fit at the same time, why wouldn't we do that? You know, that's a good combination.
Yeah, exactly. Great way to put it. So listen, if somebody needs to get a hold of you or Causey, like where can they find out more about you guys? Yeah,
so Causey.com, and I will spell it because it's an easy one to misspell. It's Cause. So it's the word cause with LY on the end. So Causey.com.
I had to look it up. In your defense, I had to look it up. Is it an I or an E? That's where I get hung up, right?
Yeah. So I tell people, spell the word cause and then put an ly on the end. It's kind of a little adverb there, but it's Causey. That's what we're doing. But jeff.presley@causey.com, or I'm even just going to throw my cell phone out there. People can call or text me. I do not care.
Ooh,
That's
you
totally
sure you
fine.
want to do that? We have
Yeah, let's
millions
go
of
for
weekly listeners.
Well, I'll vet them as they come in, but 859-983-8493. They can text me first if they want, and then I can holler back at them. But yeah, jeff.presley@causey.com, or just go to causey.com, or that's my cell phone. You can hit me up there.
Listen, again, appreciate your time. I love what you guys do. We're proud to be part of it. And I'd love to have you back on at some point. First time we've done this format, but it's worth it to get a baller like yourself on the show. So I really appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.
All right, Jeff, thanks.